Welcome back to the Faith and Culture to Your Health segment. We do this show the first Monday of every month, and we're doing it live. So if you're catching this later, try to tune in at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live, and you can ask questions from our health expert, Pamela Burnham. And she's the one leading this whole charge because we have a sick nation. And we want to help you get healthy with different ways of detoxing and medical advice on not so much medical doctor advice, but advice on vitamins, supplements, the food to eat, what to look for. And so I'm really excited for this segment. We're going to talk about detoxing. And Pamela has really put together an incredible presentation for us. Do you want to introduce us into it, Pamela, and then go ahead and get started?
Sure. Do we have any new watchers today that need to know who I am or what I do? Or are we good?
Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself just in case? Yes.
Okay. Well, I have a background in critical care nursing, 20 years of that, military spouse, traveled all around, saw a lot of crazy things, worked in a lot of places, and I'll try to slow down. Catherine's like, you need to slow down. So I'm going to slow down. Anyway, I've worked with a lot of medical freedom organizations over the last several years when COVID hit, American Frontline Doctors, the Frontline COVID Critical Care Alliance, Virginia Medical Freedom Alliance, and I've been a spokesperson for many of the doctors that were censored. And also we've gone and fought or spoken for on their behalf in hearings all the way up to DC for, Dr. Gold and Dr. Merrick. They've been extremely scrutinized and threatened and jailed and all that crazy stuff. So anyway, it was hard for them to speak without getting beaten up. So us nurses try to step up and help them. So that was my background over the last few years. I'm also an author of a whole food, primarily plant-based diet. It's been very successful in helping people reverse disease, even before COVID and before all these new things that we've been learning about. Had a lot of great success helping people put their cancer in remission. So this is just a bonus today, knowing what we know about the new protocols and supplements and all the things that the amazing naturopaths around the world have shared with us. And I just wanted to say there are a ton of protocols and a ton of supplements and ideas out there. And I know it's overwhelming. That's the big thing I hear from people is, I can't take like 1 million supplements. You don't have to take 1 million. And you got things coming from every direction. So it's very complex and very confusing. But I have narrowed it down to one protocol and one doctor in particular that I find I connect very well with him. He's at the ground level of naturopathic treatment, and he understands this stuff beautifully. So I'm going to go ahead and start my presentation and give you a little idea of what he's about, but I'm also going to touch on the other folks that we've looked at and learned a lot about them and what they've done to help people recover through all the craziness that we've dealt with. And unfortunately, we got to keep going. You see the people out running around, exercising, having fun, enjoying the sunshine and enjoying life, but it's just going to get harder if we're not paying attention and doing something to protect ourselves, because the crazy globalists have not ceased. They still have their focus on hurting us or, damaging and controlling us, unfortunately. So that's coming. So let me go ahead and get started then, Catherine.
Are you able to put your presentation up? Do you need me for that?
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can do that from here.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
See it?
I can see it from here, but I got to go back to you and do a share screen. I'm sorry. I was thinking.
I'll add it. Look.
Can you? Okay, great. There it is.
Just tell me if you can still, and if you can't control it from your end, just tell me next slide, and I can help you.
Okay. Let me see. I get little controls here. Awesome. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So we're talking about clean living and a whole body detox. For the past several years, and from what everybody's seeing online, people are focusing on one thing at a time, either heavy metals or radiation or, all this crazy stuff coming at us from every direction. So today we're going to narrow it down to one path that's going to make a lot of sense. And I think it's going to make a lot of people very happy to not be so overwhelmed. It's not
me included.
Wait, you too?
I learned a lot from Pamela. So I'm always looking forward to her instruction.
It's not allowing me to forward though.
Okay. So we'll go to the next slide.
Okay. I guess you're going to have to do it for me then, huh?
Sorry.
Okay. So I love this. that's okay. I just love this. I've maintained it through my other slides as well. And people that have been here before have seen it. But just for those who haven't seen it, our human body is just an amazing gift. It's a remarkable, resilient, adaptable, self-healing marvel. And when it's clean and handled properly or treated with respect, we can survive pretty much anything. The sense of hope and a strong spiritual connection gives to a higher power, gives us additional strength and defiance for survival, and we can thrive on a lot of things. Oops, forward.
Okay.
And this is my disclaimer. I just want everybody to know I'm a nurse. I don't treat, I don't diagnose, I don't prescribe, but I can guide you toward resources and give you some information that will help get you on your way to a healthy life. And I spend my life doing that. I just love it for some reason. The knowledge gives me peace and peace of mind, and it just makes me very happy, makes me feel good. Okay, next. Oh, the global power, the crazies out there. More people are waking up to the reality that there are powerful global interests, and they're working through the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, Big Pharma, and all the big medical institutions, and they've been exerting their power and control, threatening our health, our freedom, and our lives. Censorship, everybody knows what censorship is and how prevalent it had been. So independent voices also amplified, and a lot of information came out that was actually a benefit to the onset of COVID or dealing with COVID. So it's amazing what we've learned over the last few years. We've had alternative media, doctors, scientists, and citizens. All those advocates are exposing now long suppressed truths, and especially around natural and holistic health. Are you going to forward or?
Did I switch it too fast?
Oh, it's already switched. I'm sorry. It looks a lot like the other one. RFK. Thankfully, I say that because I've been following Kennedy for decades, and I know what he stands for. And I was so thankful for him getting in and taking grasp on the Department of Health and Human Services. And I know there's a lot of people that are very irritated with what he said when they were letting him speak in the hearings and stuff, but he had to be very selective about what he said. And he has to take one battle at a time, and he has to appease Big Pharma and everybody else to keep them from attacking him and destroying all the work that he's done thus far. It's a step-by-step approach, much like everything that we've been dealing with. He has to move mountains, and he will not disappoint. I guarantee it. If you follow him, read his books, go on his Children's Health Defense website, you'll see what I mean, that he's on our side. So he's sounded the alarm for decades about toxins in our air, food, and water, and radiation. He fought in landmark legal battles against corporate entities, Big Pharma, and despite those attacks, he continues to defend bodily autonomy and environmental safety. Now I have to bring Dr. Edward. Go ahead.
No, please.
Okay. I want to bring Dr. Edward Group into this. He is the one that I have decided to do this presentation on today based on all the protocols I've seen from so many amazing doctors. I have to hand it to him, and he's been working directly with RFK. So I'll introduce you to him later as a little video clip where he's speaking that you'll get a better idea who he is. So he's been a naturopathic doctor and expert for over 30 years. He's widely recognized as a leading expert in detoxification. He has helped remove chemicals, nanotech, toxins, parasites, plastics, metals, and everything from the body with great success. Back in 2013, he spoke at the March Against Monsanto. He was extremely angry with Monsanto and their GMO production of the food and destroying the food on our planet. And he put everything he had into fighting as hard as he could against that. But as you can see, we still have a lot of GMOs today. It's a big battle, but he continues to fight. And thankfully now he's got RFK on his side to help, as well as Dr. Marty Makary and Jay Bhattacharya of the FDA and the NIH. Those are also wonderful additions that I do not think they will disappoint.
No, that gives me chills to think that these people are actually in positions to make a difference.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yes, I remember following Dr. Bhattacharya.
We've been on the other side of the media, the censored side, and we've been actually hearing what they've been saying, and we know that they put their words are in their hearts and their actions. They all align. They're great Great
And
people.
they are real experts. They're not a joke, and they can't be bought out by big
Right.
pharma
Right.
or the government, just kind of like buying out their silence.
But they have
These
one
are
heck of a battle.
serious,
Yeah.
serious doctors, scientists, professionals.
Hmm.
And that's what's so wonderful. They are not politicians.
Exactly. That's what I love about them as well. So go back one for a second.
Go
I'm
back.
sorry,
Okay.
just for a second. I think there was one more thing there. Oh, I wanted to mention that Dr. Group, I think I might have mentioned, he's been a trusted advisor of RFK and other DC leaders in DC. He's been there a lot, traveling back and forth to DC and also to Mar-a-Lago. So go ahead.
This is so important. Praise
Mhm.
the Lord. Thank you, God.
Yes, it's a wonderful thing. Now, we do have a sense of urgency here, and he expresses it, and he's getting ready to put out his full detox program. And I'm giving you a preview right now. If you want all the details, you're going to have to go to his site, and I don't know when he's going to get it broadcasted, but you'll be able to access it from his website, and we'll get into more details on that.
And maybe if we can get the website, Pamela, so that I can include it in the
Yeah.
notes after the show is over.
Yeah, it's the Institute for Global Healing, but I will. It might be somewhere here in the presentation anyway.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it is. So we do have a sense of urgency in the face of the 2030 agenda. Dr. Group has been in DC, and he sees that the pay-to-play politics are still active. Unfortunately, the global powers have moved all of their top legal teams to DC from all over the world, and they're trying really hard to influence U.S. policy directly. The 2030 transhumanist agenda is aiming to make us humans 51% transhuman by the year 2030. We're already at 10%. People like Dr. Anna Mahalcha, Dr. Robert Young, they've been showing us slides and pictures of the blood that they've been looking at for years, maybe 3, 4, 5 years now, 4. Robert Young was one of the first ones to put what he was finding, of all the self-assembling nanotechnology and the hydras and all these crazy things that are in our bodies already. And Anna Mahalcha has even seen it in the unvaccinated. So it's getting into us in more ways than just through the injections, through the air, through the water as well. So we're 10% along, and our goal is we have to do independently fight them, because the government takes way too long to get things to happen in DC based on, as you can see, all these crazy pay-to-play politics and the lawyers. It's a big battle. And like I said, back in 2013, he was fighting Monsanto and the GMO, and you see how far that's gotten. Not very far.
Hardly. Yeah, it seems like hardly a dent. But
Yeah.
we can, Pamela, you've done a lot of political activism as well. And you've been there. You've sat in those rooms with Senator Ron Johnson, and you were just there recently with Dr. Fury and from the Virginia Medical Freedom Alliance. So how much difference does it make when we reach out to our local congressmen or senators?
You would hope that it would make a big difference. Unfortunately, a lot of them are so manipulated with their special interest money. They're so controlled that no matter how much you talk to some of these senators, governors, congressmen, you're not going to get far. So we're going to need a lot of help and we're going to have to help the administration, but we're all going to have to work together to make changes and to move mountains, basically.
Okay.
But the sad thing, when I was in there at the Senate hearing that Ron Johnson put on, and he invited Dr. James Thorpe, Dr. McCullough, Walskog from React 19. He was vaccine injured. He's a doctor, and a lot of people in his practice actually died as a result of the vaccines that they got, which was really sad. They had a doctor from Hawaii, I think it was, another from Ohio. They were on the panel and they were talking to them. But sadly, when you look at, there were supposed to be senators sitting up there talking to them and asking them questions, and there were very few. There was one that was an antagonist up there by Ronson, but there were a lot of empty chairs. In particular, oh gosh, what was that one? I can't think of his name. There was one senator there that was just there to go against everything they had to say. But the funny thing is, he brought in these signs showing numbers and statistics of all the people that died from COVID. But then one of the other folks, the lawyers, I should have taken their names down. Amazing lawyer.
I know Dr. Aaron Siri was there, and
That's it.
it was like a mic drop moment. It was
Yes.
so good to
Yes,
hear.
fantastic. So he got up there and he said, those numbers you got on there are wrong, and this is how I know. And he
And they're
just,
from a blog.
yeah, yeah. Where's your,
It's not even a
where's your,
credible source.
oh, Lord, it was crazy. And Blumenthal is the senator that was trying to sabotage
Yeah.
everything that Johnson and the
It's like,
good doctors
boom.
were trying to do. So yeah, it was a crazy display, but it was so obvious. It's so blatant. And the audience, thankfully, I would say a good 90% of them knew what was going on and they were angry. There was a lot of families in there who had lost children. Some of them had, children in sports. There was people in there in wheelchairs that have been, vaccine injured,
Yeah.
the transverse damage of their spine. They can't walk. Permanent
Mhm.
injuries. There's a lot of permanent injuries, and it's a very sad, sad situation. So a lot of those people are there,
Mm.
and a lot of those people are just so thankful to Ron Johnson for giving us, the ability to have our voices heard, have their voices heard. Sadly, they can't. They don't get any help with their medical expenses.
No.
Extremely high care these people have needed with all the damage that's been done, and they don't have help. A lot of them are destitute. It's sad.
It is terrible.
Yeah.
It's unforgivable, personally, I think.
Unbelievable. So I think we just have to have a good positive point of view. We have to focus on fixing the problem ourselves because we can't count on government. So
Right. Okay. Are you ready for the next slide?
thank you. So these are some of the things we're looking at that we need to get out of our bodies. It's not just one thing, it's a variety of things. And there's a specific process on how to remove them. You can't just do this one this week and that one that week. And, because you're still going to have problems if you don't do them all and do them in a certain order, which Dr. Dr. Group and his team working with RFK and them, I guess, I don't know how much input the others have, but I know Dr. Group has been working on this a long time, and he works with did I mention Dr. Artis, Dr. Ely, and Dr.
You
Schmidt?
haven't mentioned them yet. No, go ahead.
Okay, they're all in the same team for the Global Healing for the Ages is the name of their group. You can look them up. I'm sure you'll find them, especially on alternative media. But they're a great team. Lots of great ideas. So anyway, we're looking at GMO. We talked about that. It damages your gut, and your microbiome is actually responsible for about 75% of your immune function. So if you have a healthy microbiome, you shouldn't ever get sick. Your body should be able to be on autopilot of defending you from pretty much anything that you come in contact with. But we are so loaded with toxins and parasites and stuff that, a lot of people don't have a chance. Fluoride, a lot of people think you need fluoride for your teeth, but there's plenty of countries out there that don't have any fluoride and their teeth are beautiful. They don't want to admit that fluoride is a waste product, and they had so much of this waste. I think it was from some processing of some metal or something. It's a byproduct, and they were putting it in toothpaste. I think at one point I heard they were just trying to figure out how to get rid of it. So they stuck it in our food and our air and our water or whatever. They just started sticking it in toothpaste and stuff. It will seal your teeth, I guess, but it's a dangerous chemical. It'll make you really sick. The primary cause of tooth decay is health, not getting enough nutrients or nutrition, having a disrupted microbiome, not getting the right food. A lot of our food just doesn't have the nutrients that it needs. So third world countries, you're going to see rotten teeth, but it's not because they don't have fluoride. It's because everything else is messed up. So it disrupts your thyroid function and it calcifies your pineal gland. I don't know where, anyway, that's what it is, but I didn't know it was on there. Anyway, the pineal gland controls a lot of thinking processes. It interferes with children's IQs if they have a calcified or damaged pineal gland. So the fluoride, of course, you're not supposed to have it in kids' toothpaste. And I think it's because you would see signs of neurotoxic effects in kids pretty quickly if they're consuming it. So you don't want kids to have it. You don't even want adults to have that stuff. Mm-hmm. A lot of dentists will argue with you till the cows come home, but as time goes by, they'll see the research and learn that we're not crazy. We're not conspiracy theorists. There's plenty of research out there to support what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Chemicals, metals, nanotechnology. They're using that primarily for surveillance. I think they're trying to get us hooked up to what they call the Internet of Bodies. They have these centralized units that are collecting all this stuff, and they're trying to make replicas or cyborg images of all the humans, that they have left after their depopulation agenda. We've thrown them off track because we've outsmarted them in a lot of ways, but they're not letting up on the 2030 agenda to still try to connect us with surveillance and whatnot. Who knows what other kind of crazy ideas they have up their sleeve.
Well, this is all the AI talk too. So, to those listening right now and in the future, keep that in mind. All this AI, all of the 5G, all of the huge, mega, I guess, storage plants for information data holding places, that is for robots. That is for AI. And that is to control people eventually, because like Pamela said, they want us to be cyborgs. They want us to be melded with machinery that is inside of our body. And they've created ways that it will cross the blood-brain barrier. So this is very real. And I mean, it sounds outrageously, sci-fi, but the technology is there and they're doing it. They are successfully doing this. So we do need to be aware of it and get it out of our bodies.
Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is they've tried really hard to control what God created, but instead of being able to control, they've had to make replicas of our cells all the way down at the most minute level. And they've got little robots, even at that size, that can assemble. I mean, that's what it's so tiny, you can't even hardly see it. But there's plenty of videos and research and conferences and things where they talk about this very openly. So you just have to know where to look to find it. But it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So then we were talking about parasites and how they weaken your immunity. A lot of people's skin problems are because of parasites. A lot of people don't realize it, and we'll talk more about that later. They can cause a lot of irritability, fatigue, and they're seeing a lot of parasites. It looks like it's related to cancer. There's some different components that where it's involved, but there's a lot of factors around that. And Dr. Merrick, I think, has a really good grasp on cancer. He's done a lot of research on that, and he wrote his book, Cancer Care, and you'll find that on his website. You can still access the FLCCC at flccc.net and get his Cancer Care book. Edition 2 is the one you want. It's been updated a few months ago. Excellent book, very helpful to have for people that dealing with cancer. And turbo cancers are just skyrocketing, so very, very important that we spread that information and get that into many people's hands, because it's very critical.
Pamela, has the FLCCC changed its name?
They have. I'm sorry. IMAhealth.org. Medical Association.
Okay.
IMAhealth.org. Yes.
Okay. I'm going to make sure that's in every show that we do on To Your Health.
Yeah, so, that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then synthetic toxins and synthetic snake-like venom. I mean, they'll replicate anything with synthetics. And the synthetics are from the big oil companies, petroleum products. They're creating things, our pharmaceutical drugs, snake venom. They're replicating things with these synthetics in these labs. And that's what they're using to make us sick. And we're finding it they are finding it in chemtrails, the stuff they're dropping on us from the sky, in our soils, pharmaceuticals. Ozempic even has a venom in it. It's made from a replica of a venom. Glyphosate, of course, is another venom for killing things. It's just crazy. Anyway, go ahead and advance.
Okay.
These are some detox heroes. That song by Foreigner comes to mind. Detox. What is it? Jukebox heroes. These are my detox heroes. A lot of them are just most of these people have been censored, at some point, or jailed, or criticized, or called conspiracy. They're all amazing, and they've all made great contributions to our new naturopathic system that we're trying to put in place. A lot of people are working on it. And I hope it doesn't take as long as we fear it will. I think with this new administration and all the people they're putting in place, maybe it'll happen quicker than things we've seen in history. Just pray.
Yeah, a lot of prayer, because God wants us to take care of our bodies, but it's been an uphill battle.
Absolutely.
With everything coming against us.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that all of these doctors, they these doctors here believe in God. And so this is what's made them just focus on standing for truth, and they really take it seriously when they
Yeah.
take the oath to do no harm. These are doctors. They're not they don't pretend to be doctors like many of the people that most of us have gone to forever. Maybe I'm just being really hard on the average doctor who just takes all their marching orders from big pharma and the nefarious group at the CDC
Mm-hmm.
prior to, they're trying to clean it up now and get rid of the people who are just there for the money and for big positions later
Mm-hmm.
with pharmaceutical companies or companies like Monsanto or others out there. So anyway, with that said,
Well,
I
these
just
are
want to
doctors.
say these are real people who care.
Well, yeah, they're ones that don't do it for the money. Every one of these people that we're looking at here came out during COVID and poured their heart out to help people. They didn't ask for money. They did it to save humanity. They saw the urgency. As a matter of fact, Carrie Madej used to go to the World Economic Forum meetings, and she saw the evil there. But she also knew that if she left after witnessing some of the information they were putting out at these meetings, that they would probably hunt her down and kill her, because they've done that to people.
Yeah.
So
In
she
fact,
hid
they told
away.
her that. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've ever heard her testimony, they told her that. They
Mhm.
said that she better watch it if she doesn't accept it. And it was because, yeah, she had a certain skill set that they could
Incredible.
use.
Yeah,
And
she's got all this equipment, all this knowledge on looking at things at the tiniest level, where they're working and where they're operating from, that we can't see, that most people can't see.
but
Don't have
her
the
faith
equipment.
in God would not let her cross that
Mhm.
line.
So she went into hiding for 5 years. I think it was
Mhm.
5 years.
Yeah.
And when she came out and was traveling to conferences, she had a mysterious plane crash that she barely survived. She came out not being able to walk for a long time.
Mhm.
So it's a crazy, crazy story. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of other people that have had the same experiences and have been raided and whatnot. It's just awful what they've done to these doctors. But I have a lot of respect for these people. They're not ones that are in it for the money. And
Nope.
there's a lot of people missing from here that I haven't put on this slide, but these are the ones that I think that started at the very beginning and have stuck through it all the way through, and a lot more have jumped on board. I mean, I have a list of like 200 doctors that I trust, because I've been watching it very closely for at least 5 years, just through the COVID thing, and beyond that in other ways. But I base it on their actions and their sound, just their reasoning for doing it to help people, not for making the money. And I think that's where there's a big difference in this. So we can go ahead on to the next slide if you'd like. Oh, let me explain. I'm sorry, the
Yeah.
difference.
No, go
The
ahead.
functional doctors, the integrative health practitioners, they deal primarily with acute conditions or patients, more complex conditions, like we mentioned earlier with the React 19 vaccine injured patients. They have a hybrid of natural and clinical methods, and they have their own favorite supplements and stuff that they use, but they don't tell people, which supplements to use. They just focus on the urgency of the situation, helping to recover people. And as time goes on, they're getting better and better at the naturopathic thing, but they were all in, high alert for a long time. So they weren't able to focus on doing all the research, the decades of research on naturopathic stuff. So they were able to collect a lot of information from other people like Dr. Group and his team, and Dr. Tenpenny and the 5 Docs, and Dr. Mercola and Avocado Wolf. They go back decades of understanding, the body functioning on its own mechanisms at the most basic level, at the healthiest, cleanest level. So they promote natural healing. So that's why I have them in 2 different columns. Okay, we can go on to the next one.
All right.
So a GMO food, we pretty much, I think everybody knows what they are: modified crops, primarily corn and wheat and soy. If you look hard enough, you can find non-GMO products. It's sad that they took, God's beautiful food and destroyed it. And I think there's like 95% of it is GMO now. So I do have some sources to share with you where you can find it that's not genetically modified, not ridden with chemicals and glyphosate and whatever else. they did it so they don't have to deal with weeds. So they could spray it, douse it with spray and kill all the weeds, and they got this resistant crop. So the health risks, of course, a lot of people are familiar with all the GI problems, and it can lead to cancer, kidney failure, and diabetes as well. Disrupt your immune system. Your immune system, like we said in the beginning, is very valuable because it controls like 75% of your ability to resist disease and heal. Very important. It's been shown to be a link to autism, schizophrenia, allergies, obesity, reproductive issues they've known about since the 90s, and they still spray our food and serve us non-GMO food. Blocks enzyme function. So you're not able to digest, disrupts your hormones and vitamin absorption as well. That's unfortunate. So there's some labels to be looking for, and you have a right to be skeptical about that because they've been kind of deceitful in their labeling, but apparently with oversight, they're getting better. So I've got some other sources for you. Regenerative Organic or Real Organic Project or other labels that have stricter standards. So you can look for those.
I'd like to touch on the glyphosate issue. A lot of people don't understand. It's helped farmers grow a lot more crops, and then they look pretty in the grocery store. But I was listening to the, what is it? The something apothecary. Anyway, it's a podcast. And she had somebody on who knows about the chemical composition of glyphosate. And what it is, it's a byproduct of Agent Orange. I don't know if people remember that from the Vietnam War. A lot of people had it sprayed on them, and a lot of our military got incredibly ill and had all kinds of neurological problems because of it. But what it does to the insects is it makes their stomachs explode. So what do you think it's doing to you when it gets in our plants and then we consume it? Yes, at a lesser scale, but I think this is one of the big reasons why so many people have leaky gut, which means it's escaping your stomach and crossing the blood-brain barrier, and these things should not be in our brain. So yeah, this is a cascading problem.
Yes, absolutely. So these are some, they say, trusted apps and digital guides. You can use your phone to screen and look for safer sources of food. You got the Center for Food Safety, Responsible Technology. So that one leads the global GMO awareness efforts. The first one's about transparency in food labeling. The last one on the left there promotes regenerative farming, and I don't have to point that out. You guys can read, of course, but there's a lot of great sources there that you can use to help yourself find some good food.
Good?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Just making sure.
Thank you. And then we talked about fluoride a little bit. These are, an overall screen of, I don't know how deep we went into details on this because I did this recording earlier, so I can't remember what I said and what I didn't say here. But so I think I said it reduces their IQ, the children's IQ, impairs their brain development, accumulates in your bones over time. Fluoride does. It's linked to skeletal fluorosis, which is stiffness and brittleness of your bones, increases your risk of bone fractures.
Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of people with stains on their teeth, white spots and staining. It's damage from dental fluorosis from the fluoride.
Wow.
Yeah. Thyroid function suppresses your thyroid hormones, and they're responsible for a lot of things. So you're going to end up gaining weight and being tired. Gut microbiome, again, it's like the heart of everything. It seems your microbiome needs to be healthy. It harms your good gut bacteria, and the bad ones can thrive. And it accumulates in your kidneys and your bones, and again, your pineal gland. Long-term toxicity concerns, like you said, like Agent Orange.
Yeah.
Next. Parasites, the hidden epidemic. We've always treated our dogs and our cats and our livestock for parasites. But has anybody ever been treated for parasites? Any human that you know of? I mean, until recently. We never really talked about that with our doctors, not that I'm aware of. They're hard to detect.
Yeah.
They inhabit your organs. They get very deep into your tissues.
Yeah.
And, people used to think parasites, especially GI doctors, they think parasites are something you can actually see with the naked eye, but these are parasites you can't see. A lot of them are intracellular. They're hiding in your tiny, tiny, tiny little blood cells. They're hiding in your brain tissue, your connective tissue, your fascia, which connects your muscles and tendons and whatnot. They can hide all through your body. And the ones that you can't kill with a regular parasite cleansing, which is what most people are doing, they refer to those as mother parasites. And it takes a good 6 weeks to wipe out all the stages of the parasites. So you can't just do it occasionally and kill the parasites. It's a process that you need to follow. And like I said, Dr. Group has got a nice plan in place for people to clear out things like this from your body. And you follow that plan and you got to maintain it, a certain way to keep all these things out of your body. But he's doing a beautiful job. He's so busy. He doesn't have time to, go through this with the world yet. And I don't know how it's going to be interesting to watch how he and the current administration, the HHS, handle this. But I'm just going to give you a preview and an overview.
Okay.
I got a preview on it.
Oh, that would be great.
No, I got one. That's why I'm sharing this with you.
Okay.
But I can't go into great detail because I don't know how much detail he's going to share or at what point, but I'm going to give you a good overview so you know where to go and what to do in the meantime.
Thank you, Pamela. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people who have struggled with Lyme borealis complex, they know about parasites and they don't show up in your blood work.
No.
That's the tricky part. So there are different tests that can be done, but they're extensive. Do you have any that maybe are affordable, Pamela? Because we haven't had that in our family, haven't all been tested for quite a while, other than looking at our blood under the microscope with a molecular biologist.
Well, I just suggest following the treatment plan to eliminate it because it doesn't cost you any extra money. You want to just treat the root cause. Typically, what our doctors have us used to doing is treating symptoms, and you don't want to just chase symptoms because you never treat the root cause. So Dr. Group and the team will teach us or are teaching us how to treat the problem. And there's a process for doing that. But I can say that I've sent some of my patients, and I don't diagnose and I don't treat and I don't prescribe, but I do coach patients. But I have had patients I recommended they go and talk to tissue specialists. We have one here in town where they went and had a drop of blood put on a slide. And they were blown away at the parasites in that drop of blood.
Yeah.
Slide. And they did real-time videos, and the doctor that was doing these views of the blood cells, they have to have a specialized microscope. It's a dark field, and they have to stain, and they have to do a very high power to see them because they're so tiny. But these people call me and say, "Oh my God, I had no idea that was in my blood. You were right. I thought for sure I was clean. I've been doing ivermectin, but I haven't been doing it every day, and I thought it was treated, but they're in there." So I think 100% of us, probably close to 90, 100% of us have them unless you know how to treat them.
Yeah.
Get rid of them.
Yep. And they will set up, some of them, like Borrelia burgdorferi, will set up colonies. Mm-hmm. And that's a whole different story. I'm going to let you continue.
Okay. Yeah, you could go all day on Lyme disease. You've learned a lot about that, haven't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, whoa, I don't know if I finished the last slide. I'm sorry. I got distracted.
That's okay. No, because I saw something else on here. You had somewhere Babesia. That will kill you.
Tick-borne. My father-in-law died from it.
Yeah, that will kill you.
Yes, Babesia, and it was pretty fast too. He got a tick off of his dog, and he was working in the yard, took it off, didn't think much of it, and next thing you know, he's got flu-like symptoms, didn't think much of it. He gets into the hospital, and they're like, "You have babesiosis." And when you look at the blood cells on the slide for Babesia patients, they're like in a cross formation, so they bunch up in your body and they clog up your organs and they cause you to go into organ failure. It's horrible stuff.
Yeah. Dr. Heyman, who was one of the fathers of functional medicine, he started it so many years ago. He got it and he went down to that clinic in Mexico, right there in Baja, and he spent a few weeks there, and they recognized it. And this was about the same time that my daughter was diagnosed,
Mm.
right before it. So I saw the effects that this could have. It will cripple you.
Oh, yeah.
You will lose your energy, your ability to walk. Just if you don't get the right treatment, no, it's
And
so bad.
we're seeing studies or information coming out about them purposely releasing those things on the public,
Yeah. My
sadly.
daughter had that too. Yeah. It's
My
awful.
father-in-law was the 5th person in New England to get it and die from it.
Oh, I'm
That was years
sorry.
ago. I don't remember what year it was. It was
Wow.
about 14 years ago.
Mm, mm, mm.
So these are common parasites found in humans: pinworms, Giardia, toxoplasmosis, which goes to your brain. Very bad, especially for pregnant women handling cat litter, as you've heard, toxoplasmosis, cryptosporidium, and strongyloids, all things that are common in humans. They thrive on sugar or simple carbs, which are basically the same thing. Junk food, processed food, toxins, heavy metals tend to harbor parasites that give them a place to thrive and be a little happy set up house in your body, um, and your cells, of course. They damage your cells, and then they
Mm,
clot up into little clumps and whatever in your body. It can turn into cysts or tumors and things.
mhm,
Glyphosate damage, they like that. They like that microbiome to be imbalanced. You gotta
mhm.
have a high fiber diet to help clean things out. A lot of people don't get enough fiber. They don't get enough plants, and that's the only place you're gonna find fiber is in plants. There's none in animal products, so you should go heavy on the plants, minimal on the animal products. And it's also your soluble fiber carries your nutrients and your phyto my brain's not antioxidants and everything that reverses disease. You'll find in your soluble fiber from plants. There's a lot of great things in there. The animals are like a middleman between what you should be eating, and a lot of people don't have time to study up on what they should be eating in entirety. So you can eat animal products, just supplement, but it's not the healthiest way to go. So
Yeah.
antibiotics, stress, and aging, those also make your body a nice little paradise for parasites. Okay.
Mm.
So these are some of the damaging effects from parasites. Do you feel like you're in a college class or back in high school or something with all this crazy information? Sorry.
Big words.
It's not too boring. I love this stuff, but I hope it doesn't lose other people. So anyway, you're going to have neurological problems, fatigue, anxiety, insomnia, especially during a full moon. Parasites are very active during full moon, believe it or not. There's
True.
science.
It's so true. It is.
They
Yeah.
can cause you to grind your teeth, especially at night during a full moon. So you might notice some nights where you wake up and your jaw hurts because you've been clenching all night long. It might be those active parasites having a good old party in your body. Skin crawling. Did you ever wonder, look at your arm and say, ooh, I feel something. Maybe that was a bug. Could be parasites. They're so tiny you can't see them, but skin crawling is common with an overload of parasites. And you got these skin conditions, eczema and psoriasis. A lot of people, once they go on a parasite cleanse, those things disappear. No more eczema, no psoriasis. And the same thing goes for acne, believe it or not. Ivermectin, as you know, is an antiparasitic, and they make it in the form of something called Soolantra, which is used for acne. It's an acne treatment. Works beautifully. I think it's in Canada.
Interesting.
Use it. It is.
Does somebody have to use this Soolantra, or can they just take ivermectin?
You can take
What is
ivermectin, but they won't tell you it's the same thing. They had to
oh,
rename it in order to hide ivermectin from us, you know.
oh,
I'm sure it's a synthetic version called Soolantra because that's the way the pharmaceutical companies could sell it, make a lot of money and get insurance coverage. They all scratch each other's backs. So anyway, you got bloating, constipation, hemorrhoids, all these things are related to parasites. And what's interesting is a lot of people know that if you have a sugar craving, Dr. Merritt, Lee Merritt in particular, she says whenever she has a sugar craving, which she's had most of her life, she pops ivermectin and it goes away. She doesn't have a sugar craving anymore. She forgets all about her sweets cravings. So,
really?
mhm.
Wow. I want to just kind of caution people. We do need to, there is a threshold, I think, where we shouldn't be taking ivermectin just all the time.
Mhm.
What would you suggest? What have the doctors said that you've been around, Pamela?
Well, I suggest getting in touch with a naturopathic or integrative health practitioner, someone who can monitor what you're doing and make sure that you don't make any mistakes, especially if you're on other medications or under another doctor's care. You know, a lot of what you're taking or doing can interact with things, because a lot of the natural supplements and natural treatments you'll be doubling up because you're getting drugs that are synthetically imitating the plants that should be taken. So you don't want to be taking double or too much of any one thing, because it can mess you up. And some of them, like grapefruit, for instance, it's made from a lot of the same things that the heart medications are made from. That's why you can't do grapefruit while you're on heart medications, because it'll throw things off. So a lot of people, my sister included, she doesn't like me to talk about her, but she's a good case, though, to talk about. She was able, and she's married to a doctor, which is kind of funny and ironic. He and I argued about essential hypertension. And, I had been well versed in the positive effects of grapefruit. And she had what he called essential hypertension. And he reviewed the book that I wrote and said, you're not going to be able to reverse her hypertension with just food and, reducing salt and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, we'll see. So anyway, she tried it. She did the grapefruit. She was doing a half a grapefruit a day, I think, or a whole grapefruit. I can't remember how much. And she'd already given up as much salt as she could, but she didn't realize she could be doing minerals with the salt to make it a healthier version of salt, as people are learning more now about. Because in Japan, for instance, I'm going off tangent here, there's a lot of studies that show that Japanese women don't have high blood pressure, don't have breast cancer, don't have a lot of things because they get high mineral food with their salt. They do miso soup every day, but they eat it with soy, and an organic soy, I guess, is what they have over there. And it actually has a reverse effect on cancer, whereas our genetically modified soy causes cancer. So
the organic soy, that you could probably make miso soup and just have a cup of that every day. I mean,
they have 2 cups. They actually get about 9,000 milligrams of sodium a day on average, and American women get about 3,500 milligrams of sodium. So what does that tell you? And they have like 0 hypertension and 0 breast cancer up there. But they're getting food that's not genetically modified. It can't be just organic, because I would just say it's the chemicals, but it can't be genetically modified either.
Okay. Now, how much are they getting the sodium?
They consume on average 9,000, I can't remember the exact number, but on average 9,000 milligrams of sodium per day.
And we do what here in America?
Miso soup that they drink, 3,500.
Wow, so we're way off. We have a viewer who commented on the Agent Orange and says that her dad and uncle died from Agent Orange.
My uncle as well. Yeah, Vietnam for a couple of years, and he died very young. Very sad. I'm so sorry.
It's the exposure, and it takes a while, but if you don't know how to get it out and treat it, it just lingers in your system.
Yeah.
And you suffer.
And the sad thing is they've known
about that
so long, and they've been holding out on us. Yeah.
It's bad.
My uncle, he was very young when he died with Agent Orange. He was on oxygen and suffering and stuck in his house for his last few years of life. But yeah, terrible thing to watch them die from something like that. And what's worse is, our government doesn't do much to help them either. They go to the VA and they just get treated like everybody else. And after they put their life on the line for us, it's just heartbreaking.
It is terrible. It is terrible.
So let me see. We talked about the acne. I thought that was pretty interesting. So there's 30 to 40 species associated with human disease, 30 to 40 species of parasites. And we talked about the babesia and the toxoplasmosis. 100% of MS patients, multiple sclerosis patients, have parasites in their brains.
Yeah. That documentary, Under Our Skin, that this crew did about what they call Lyme disease. And the reason why I keep saying they call is because it's really, if you talk to Judy Makovitz, who we had on last month, she says it is a neuroborealis. And the doctor, who was a professional and all he did was Lyme in his Lyme clinic in DC, was calling it Lyme borealis complex, because Lyme is simply the name of the city or the town right off the coast of Connecticut, on the coast of Connecticut, right, where the men and women scientists would come from Plum Island And that's where they would come on ferries to finish their day of working at the biolabs over there from the government biolabs.
Mhm.
So that's, of course, where these symptoms started to show up. And it is a neurological. It causes all sorts of problems.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's
and
interesting.
parasites.
You could go on for hours. I know you could. I've heard
Yeah.
you, how much knowledge you've got in your mind from that. It's just unbelievable what you've had to go through with your daughter.
It's terrible.
Okay.
Ready for the next one?
Go ahead. We don't have much.
Anyway, what I was going to say, Pamela, before I kind of distracted myself, was that there was a brave scientist, kind of like all the brave doctors that we've talked about earlier today, and there are more. Like you said, there are like 200 on your list. This brave scientist did studies from the Harvard Brain Bank. He went home and did it on his own time. He checked out legally the slices of these brains of people who had died with MS, and he found that 70% of them had Lyme Borealis complex in their brain. They had Borrelia burgdorferi. And 90% of those who died with Parkinson's or supposedly had Parkinson's had the Borrelia burgdorferi parasite in their brain. So it makes you wonder.
Mm-hmm. So the hidden dangers of 5G and EMF, and I'm so sorry, but we're not going to be able to get to the protocol. I didn't realize I had it buried in here so far, and it's so much time has gone by.
We'll do that next time, because we're not just getting it from our food, is what Pamela's showing us here. We're getting it from all different directions.
Exactly. Yeah,
and
but we have
so
a nice plan that will step by step remove all of these issues and make you healthy again.
And we'll do that next month, but continue here as much time as we've got here.
Just so you know, in the meantime, go to Global Healing or the Institute of Global Health, Institute of Global Healing, I think it is, Dr. Edward Group. You can find his website, and he's got a lot of free information on there for you. And this beautiful step-by-step, organ-by-organ protocol is going to come out soon if it's not already on there. Maybe he got it loaded. I don't know. But you can look there in the meantime.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. So the hidden dangers of 5G pulse and EMF radiation. A lot of people are learning about that too. Children are highest risk during brain development. It's linked to glioblastomas. There's a lot of children with glioblastomas these days. Very, very deadly, sad situation. They just grow quickly, and they're usually in the brainstem, and it's just a horrible demise for these poor little kids. You want to limit your cell use to just cell use for 30 minutes a day over 10 years increases your risk of cancer by 40%, and that's just from radiation damage, not to mention other.
We carry these things everywhere. Wow.
Yeah. I know. And so many people hold them up to the ear, and I just want to pull it away and put it on speaker. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, and people, these, like my husband, he's a military guy. He's been in the military he's in the military for 30 years. He went to nuclear power school. He's a smart guy, but he wants to argue with me till the cows come home on EMF radiation. He's trying to tell me, oh, it's not a big deal. It's not this, it's not that. I'm like, oh my Lord, there's so many studies and so much research that they're suppressing, and so many court hearings, so many people that have gone in and presented the evidence that they suppress that nobody sees. And it just makes me crazy. Anyway.
It's the same playbook that they did with the medical stuff. The same thing with the EMF radiation.
That's right. So it damages your thyroid again, adrenal, pancreas damage, which you don't want to have your pancreas fail on you, but it gets damaged. That's going to affect your insulin and your glucose levels and make you diabetic or whatever. So it can imbalance your cortisol, cause you stress, fatigue, like we mentioned, diabetes. Also depletes your melatonin. You have sleepless nights. Gosh, since I've been doing some of these detox things, I'm sleeping so much better. I'll sneak a little secret in here. Well, I'll talk about that next time. But it'll be an interesting little tidbit to talk about helping my sleep and my mother-in-law's sleep, my sister-in-law, everybody that tries this technique that I've discovered is just incredible. Anyway, GI risk, obesity and digestive issues, tachycardia. So all these fibrillation problems that people are having, these heart dysrhythmias, a lot of those, they attribute them to the 5G EMF radiation, 5G pulse and EMF radiation. So it's hard to get away from it. And again, a grounding. Did I talk about a grounding mat on your bed to help detox you? to help, lay some of the damage from these the radiation that we're being exposed to. I love my grounding mat on my bed. It plugs into the third prong on your outlet so that it goes right to the ground. So it grounds your bed. So you're laying on a grounded bed. You're basically sleeping on the ground. So anyway, that helps relieve some of the radiation damage that's happening to you. And while you're sleeping is the best time to do it, because that's when your body does so much healing. So you're optimizing your healing while you're sleeping by sleeping on a grounding mat. But you also want to get the radiation under control in your home by, sorry, my phone keeps ringing because I have another appointment coming up here soon. But so you want to get your house. If you go to EMF Soul, and I think we cover that in the next slide or the next show, but there are companies that will do a mitigation on your home. You tell them how many rooms you have and computers and phones and whatnot. And they'll send you all the products you need to alleviate any radiation damage in your home, on your phones, your computers, in your car even. And these people driving around these Teslas, I know they love Tesla, they love Elon Musk, but they're like driving in microwaves. So you got to find ways to mitigate the radiation damage that you're getting exposed to.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Well, Pamela, do you want to stop there? Do you have, let's see your other slide.
We'll go back for 1 second. Let me see, and we'll figure out. Okay. Oh, yeah. So RFK Jr.'s actually won a lot of federal cases against 5G deployment. So he can confirm that, although I don't think they're talking about it much yet. But he knows very well. He knows very well all these things I'm talking about. That's why I'm just so happy he's in place there. At some point, he'll be able to address it, but he's got to do piece by piece without. He's probably got a lot attempts long on him, so it's a scary place to be. So God bless him. Okay, go ahead, and we're on the hidden dangers of 5G pulse and EMF.
Okay.
And you can just.
So should we stop there?
If you want to, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we have just a few minutes left. And do you want to just kind of, I know you said for people to go to Institute of Global Healing, right?
Well, that's where they're going to find Dr. Group.
Okay.
And his recommendations for cleaning your body properly.
Okay. All right. And where else can they go meantime? Because a month is a long time to wait.
There's a lot of places to go. Dr. Merritt she's very much into parasite cleansing, and she's got a great protocol where you can alternate things like ivermectin, fenbendazole, mebendazole, or nitazoxanide. Those things are all great for hitting different stages of parasites. So at least you can address the parasites on her website.
Okay, what is the name of her website?
It's the Medical Rebel, themedicalrebel.com or leemerritt.com. I think it's Dr. Lee Merritt, actually. And these things are in the slides, so I'm just, I think you should be able to find them. I think I've got it right for you.
Okay.
And then Dr. Artis, he's definitely a notable person to, he's got the nicotine patch ideas, and we're going to go over that in the next segment on my slide. A lot of these doctors that are going around speaking at these conferences, they're popping nicotine gum. And the funny thing about nicotine is they've always told us it was addictive and carcinogenic, but it's actually found in eggplant and tomatoes, and it's nightshade vegetables, and it's a healing factor. It's one of those beautiful gifts in nature that they've been hiding from us. Another one. Nicotine's actually good for us. It cleaves the toxins from our ACE2 receptors in our cells and helps eliminate some of the toxins. And there's ways to flush those out. They'll reabsorb if you don't follow the protocol that Dr. Group provides to get them out. So that's just a little tidbit there.
Okay.
And then there's heavy metal detox. Dr. Sherry Tenpenny is a great resource for that. And she does the microsomal touchstone essentials zeolite. And again, that has to be used in combination with some things. And I think she's got information on that on her site or in some videos. It does. I think it's the best product out there that they've talked about that does go into deep tissues and pulls out a lot of the metals, but it only does like the positively charged ones. I think, I can't remember, like cadmium and aluminum and something. And then there's other metals that are dangerous too, but don't quote me on that. You have to do your research and look at her website. And she's got a lot of information on that.
Okay.
Who else?
What's the name of her site?
Her site, drsherrytenpenny.com, I believe. TENPENNY. She's incredible.
And I'm going to warn people, when you look up any of these people, there are going to be a lot of, especially if you use Google, which I I don't even like to say it. To me, it's like even a bad word. It's like a 4-letter word. That place, they're just so controlled. Just expect to see derogatory comments about these people.
They've actually hired CIA agents, retired, and when they're in their downtime, they write slander pages or defamation. Is it slander that's written? Slander pages on these doctors because they are such a threat to big pharma and their pockets. So ignore the stuff you see in Google, like Catherine said. Go to alternative media sources if you want to find more good information, because they've even tried to infiltrate some of those, but there's a lot more good than bad on things like Clout Hub, Brighteon, BitChute, Telegram. Where else? There's so many great alternative media sources that you can check. Rumble's a great one, much better than YouTube. I wish everybody would get the heck off of YouTube and get the good stuff over on Rumble and be done with the Chinese influenced media sites.
Yeah. Yep. That's my advice too. Okay. Well, so we'll see you all next month. It's July 7th. We may have a special guest, but we will get to the detox thing. We will.
And I'm fine if you want to do another show between now and then. If your folks demand it or want it, let me know. We can make that work. I feel bad.
Right, well, we'll see. Yeah, I want to get to a cooking show.
Yeah,
I'm excited about that.
Let's
and talk about your book and do a recipe out of that. And
yeah, I need to get my second edition ready too. I told Dr. James Lyons Waller I would have that second edition ready, and I haven't done it yet. But busy. Very
busy. Okay, well, God bless everybody. Keep your bodies healthy. You've just been given a lot of good advice as to where to go until we can get to a detox strategy that Pamela has worked really hard to put together, and it's based on Dr. Group's detoxing. So, and I'm sure a lot of others we're gonna find that. So, thank you, everybody. See you next time.
All right.
Thank you, Pamela.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.